Hi, I'm Azalea. Welcome to Azalea's Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make rice. And once you've made it this way, I promise you'll never have soggy rice again. I have a cup of rice, which is about 250 ml of rice, 2 cups of water, roughly 500 ml of water, and 3/4 teaspoons of salt. Now before I carry on and showing you how to make the rice, I like to mention about the pans. Now this is the smallest pan that I have and it would fit the rice perfectly well, but don't use the smallest pan you have. And the reason is that if the rice, by the time it's boiled and grown and comes quite high up the pan, what happens is the rice on the bottom half cooks much more than the rice on the top half. So what you really want is a wide enough surface in a pan to make the amount of rice more, the level more shallow. So use the next size up, or even a larger pan that you have, the better. So here I'm using this one, and if you can see, I put the rice in, it occupies a small amount of the bottom of the pan. Have a look. Okay, so now I'm going to add the water, and I never measure the water now, I just do it by eye. I know roughly how much the water should protrude above the rice in a pan, and you get to know that. So after a while you won't need to measure. So the rice and the water are in, goes on the hob. I add some salt and bring it up to the boil, so we'll wait for that. We're going to bring the rice to boil, and when it's boiling I'll show you, and then show you the next step that you need to do. It's come up to boil, and now that it's on a fierce boil you want to bring the heat down a little bit and keep it on a sort of gentle boil. So come and have a look how it is. So now the rice has been boiling away for about 4 to 5 minutes on a gentle boil, and have a look and you can see how the water is evaporating. Can you see how the water has gone under the surface of the rice and it has created little holes everywhere? That's about the right stage at which you're going to do the next part, which is to cover it completely. Now before you do that, we need to taste the rice and make sure it's at the correct stage. This is the part that's most important, which is you want the rice to be almost done but still have a slight bite to it, so it's not completely cooked, and it will finish cooking now with the cover on. So at this point it's almost there. So it's soft, but in the middle it still has a little bit of bite, and there's no water on the surface. Well, it's all gone underneath the rice, so there's enough water for the rest, which is covering it with some paper towels. So now we're going to cover with 2 pieces of paper towel like that, folded over, and then the lid, and it will stay like this for 2 minutes on the lowest heat. Now at this point you're not allowed to peep, you're not allowed to lift and touch and let the steam escape, because the remainder of the water you have in there is going to create the steam, which is going to finish it off cooking, and the rice will absorb the rest of the water, so you're left with a nice fluffy rice. Now the reason I don't use a tea towel, which you can use a tea towel, is because I wash my tea towels with fabric softener, because it gets put with the rest of the washing, and what happens is, if you do that, is the rice absorbs the fabric softener smell and taste. So I've had that happen to me, and you don't want that, which is why I use paper towels instead. So just bear that in mind. Okay, now it's had the 2 minutes with very low heat and the lid on, so we're going to transfer it off the heat and leave it to rest for 3 minutes. While it's resting, I'm going to tell you that you can use this method for all sorts of rice. I've used it for sushi rice, I've used it for pilau rice, and even you could use it for wholemeal rice. But when you're doing it for wholemeal rice, you're going to have to add more water and cook it for longer before it gets to the stage where it's almost done but not quite, and then you use the lid and finish it off with the steam. So that's the only thing you have to be aware of, and that goes for sushi rice as well. It takes a little bit longer, so you have to get to the stage when you cover it that it's almost done, and that means the first stage of the boiling, the rapid boiling, may take longer. So that's the only thing you have to be aware of, which is when you cover it, it has to be almost done. Now, when it's at the resting stage, it will carry on cooking. So if you leave it for 10 minutes off the heat, it will carry on cooking, which means the bottom layer will carry on getting sort of a bit soggy, which is not the idea of the rice. So my suggestion is that if you've made the rice and then you're wanting to stall it because you're doing something else and you don't want to eat it straight away, take it off the heat, take it off the pan, put it in a bowl, and it'll be nice and fluffy at that point, and then you can always reheat it in a microwave, or it will keep warm in a bowl relatively for another 10-15 minutes, but it won't carry on cooking. I'm now going to lift the lid on the rice and we're going to see it, and there it is. No water left, and I'm going to pour it into the bowl. As you can see, it's all the grains are separate. And here you have fluffy, separate grains of rice. No water, no sogginess, and it's perfect rice. Some recipes say wash the rice. Do not wash the rice. All that happens is it makes the grains fragile. So when you cook it in this way, they end up breaking up. That's what's happened to me. So don't wash it. But on the other hand, don't stir the rice either. You're allowed to stir it when you add the water initially, but then leave it alone. The more you stir, the more starch you start to release from the rice, and you end up with sticky rice. So you don't want that. Apart from that, those are the things you need to do. The recipe and details are on my website, azaleaskitchen.net. And until next time, thank you for watching.